Good morning, fourth graders. I have, or I'm about, what you're about to follow along with is your social studies. Let's go ahead and start sharing. This is lesson 3 as we're moving along on the voyage, the overland trail to California. Let's see. Here we go. We can go on to this one. All right, so if you've chosen to follow along, then you have your reflections book out, and we are on page 206. Okay, let's open this up a little bit. Here we go. Americans in California. So let's go ahead, look at our timeline. It's about 1845, between 1825 and moving on. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Very weird. Okay, we're going back to 206. Here we go. Put that imagination cap on. You are there. Today you have visitors. They bring bad news that the tensions between American settlers and Mexican leaders are getting worse. In fact, a number of Americans are planning an uprising. You have worked hard on your farm since you arrived several years ago, but you don't own the farm since you're not a Mexican citizen. You must decide whether you should join in the revolt. So here it says in 1847, about half of San Francisco's 450 residents were American born. American interest in California grows. By 1845, there were almost 700 people from the United States living in California. Settlers could own land, but only if they became Mexican citizens. In the United States, a new idea was gaining popularity. Many people felt that the United States should expand to reach from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. This idea became known as Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny became a popular idea for many reasons. The population of the United States had swelled from about 5 million in 1800 to more than 23 million in the 1840s. Many Americans wanted California to be part of the United States so that citizens would have more places to live and work. Because trade was rapidly growing in the area, some Americans wanted the United States to have control of ports along the Pacific coast. One person who placed a high value on California was President James K. Polk. Soon after he took office in 1845, President Polk offered Mexico $40 million for what is now California, Arizona, and New Mexico. We're on page 208. Mexican control weakens. Mexico refused to sell California to the United States, yet it had little control over the region. The Mexican government in California was weak. In the 20 years after Mexico won its independence, California had more than a dozen governors. The economy of Mexican California was also weak. The church no longer had control of the missions, and much of the mission property had been sold or given away as land grants. Rancho owners were able to buy more land at low prices. Because they owned much of the land, the rancho owners gained power. Most of these landowners were Californios, but they had different opinions about Mexican rule. Some agreed that Mexico should rule California. Others supported the United States. The government in Mexico City did not have the money to pay soldiers in California. With few Mexicans willing to move to the distant region, there was little hope of keeping order there. To add to Mexico's troubles, more and more Americans continued to move westward. The Mexican government was unable to stop the settlers. So, this picture or painting is John C. Fremont and United States soldiers entering Monterey in 1846. So, it's almost like an uprising of sorts between the two. All right, page 209. During his first expedition to the West, John C. Fremont noticed that California was not well defended. He returned to Monterey in 1846 with about 60 soldiers. Fremont hoped to take control of California. General Jose Castro, California's Mexican military leader, ordered Fremont to leave. As Fremont and his men headed north to Oregon, they spread a rumor that Castro was going to make all American settlers leave California. Although some American settlers had become Mexican citizens and owned their land, many others were squatters. A squatter is someone who lives in a place without permission. Squatters did not have the same rights and protections as Mexican citizens. The squatters worried that Castro would attack. In Northern California, a group of American settlers decided to try to gain control of California. They hoped that the United States would support their efforts. So up here, this word says Californios were deeply divided over what to do about American settlers in California. So it's like different viewpoints. Pio Pico, he was the governor of Mexican California. He said, "Shall we remain supine, lying down, while these daring strangers, American settlers, are overrunning our fertile plains until we have become strangers in our own land?" And Mariano Vallejo, he was the government official and rancho owner in Sonoma. He said, "All our minds were prepared to give a brotherly embrace, a hug, to the sons of the great republic, the United States, whose spirit had filled us with admiration." So I want you to think about those two viewpoints. That's something that we'll talk about, right? Let's keep going on to page 210, the Bear Flag Revolt. On June 14, 1846, a group of about 30 settlers marched into the town of Sonoma at dawn. They called themselves the Osos. Oso is the Spanish word meaning bear. This group wanted to take control of California away from Mexico. The rebels went to the house of Mariano Vallejo, the most important Mexican official in Sonoma. A rebel is someone who fights against the government. The rebels made Vallejo agree to give up control of Sonoma. Because Vallejo shared the idea that California would be better off separated from Mexico, he did not oppose the rebels. Even so, they arrested him and took him to Sutter's Fort. So here's Mariano Vallejo, right? And he is on the side of California. The rebels declared California to be a free republic. A republic is a form of government in which people elect their leaders. The rebels then raised a handmade flag over Sonoma's main plaza to announce the California Republic, later called the Bear Flag Republic. General Castro quickly tried to end the rebellion. However, the 50 soldiers he sent to take back Sonoma failed. They lost the Battle of Olompali on June 24th. And maybe you've heard of Olompali? That's right in between Novato and Petaluma. John C. Fremont returned to California and soon aided the rebels, known now as the Bear Flaggers. So before we turn the page, I wanted to look up here. This is the Bear flag. The Osos, the bears, Osos is the group. Oso in Spanish means bear. So the group Osos designed a flag to represent their new republic. On a piece of cloth, they painted a lone star. So here you can see one star, a grizzly bear, and the words California Republic. A single red stripe was sewn across the bottom. Explaining their choice of symbols, one of the bear flaggers said, "A bear stands his ground always, and as long as the stars shine, we stand for the cause." In 1911, the bear flag became California's official state flag. These same images are still found on the flag of California today. So this is the original flag on the top, right, of California. And then this is probably as you recognize it today. So just a little bit different, but still the symbols with the star and the flag. All right, we're going to be turning in just a minute. I'm down at the bottom of 210. During this time, the United States was already at war with Mexico. The people in California did not know this. They found out only after American warships landed at Monterey. The arrival of American troops quickly brought an end to the California Republic. So, in summary, Mexico struggled to keep American settlers out of California. So everyone was coming to California, right? American settlers rebelled and created the Bear Flag Republic. The republic ended when the United States took control of the region. So, this is a painting of the Bear Flaggers, and they're celebrating their victory, right? All right, you guys. Um, Make sure you've read this, reread it by yourself if you'd like, and there'll be some comprehension questions for you to check on Google Forms too. All right, I'll see you soon.